Hey guys, my name's Katie Dyson and I'm the counselor behind Balanced Behavioral Solutions in Mount Pleasant. I work with children, teens, and adults on a variety of mental health concerns, and I'm here today as part of LAUGH's speaker series to talk about how to manage change, stress, and to kind of check in with yourself during COVID-19 and quarantine. So it's no secret that COVID-19 has totally disrupted a lot in all of our lives and caused a lot of change for all of us. Um, Change is really stressful for us as humans. We like things to be consistent and predictable. Um, Uncertainty is the root of a lot of anxiety for humans, and this whole coronavirus situation has caused a lot of uncertainty for us. How long will this last? What's next week going to look like? What's next month going to look like? What about next school year? What if this happens again? Um, so, if this has been stressful for you as a parent or as a grown up, imagine how stressful it is for your child too, who might struggle in being able to communicate that or self calm. So, I'm going to go over a couple of things today to help you check in with your day to day and manage change. And those two things are going to be called seeds, which I'll get into, and how to set a schedule or a routine. So, the first thing that I wanted to talk about is seeds. It's a concept developed by Dr. John Arden, and it stands for social, education, exercise, diet, and sleep. I use this with a lot of my clients, children and adults, as a quick way to check in with the different areas of our lives that can affect our mood and overall mental health. So, obviously, the first one, social, has been affected a lot with social distancing and quarantine. Humans are social. Even when you get into the whole introverts versus extroverts thing, we're social creatures because it's a survival instinct that we have. If we're completely alone, we're going to suffer. So being with other people makes us feel happy. It releases a bunch of chemicals in our brains. It just feels normal and natural. And children with autism spectrum disorder are no different. Kids with autism may struggle with social interactions or appear indifferent sometimes, but that doesn't mean that they don't want that social interaction. In fact, it's really likely that your child probably misses their teacher, their friends, maybe family members that they're used to seeing, and that's okay, that's normal. Tell your child that that's normal, and maybe even point out that you miss those people too. You miss your coworkers, your friends, you miss going to work. All of that stuff is completely normal right now. And if you want more information on social skills, check out last month's speaker, Michaela. She did a really great job on a social skills training thing. Exercise is another really big area that has been impacted with COVID. Depending on your child's age, it's likely that they're pretty active throughout the school day, whether that's in the form of recess or they're, maybe in middle school or high school and they're changing classes throughout the day, walking through the halls. That's a lot of activity, and being at home impacts that a lot when we're not walking around as much. Exercise releases a lot more chemicals in our brains called endorphins that make us feel happy. So if we're at a lower activity level, we're going to feel that. Education. Obviously, your child is probably in some form of virtual school, so you might be thinking, check, got that one done. But this one's really important for you too, as a parent, as a grown-up, to check in with yourself on. As humans, we like to be challenged because in addition to being social beings, we're also very intellectual. So it doesn't always come in the form of schoolwork. Education in seeds can be learning a new skill or a hobby. That can have a similar effect in our brains of making us feel happy that we've learned something new. And with your child, this can be, in the form of a new preferred activity or something like that. It's kind of like they have their freedom right now to choose their own education, which means they'll be more likely to want to do it. These last two seeds, diet and sleep, kind of tie into setting a routine and schedule, so hang on for that too. Diet. We're at home all day right now during quarantine, right? So we are more likely to eat or snack than if we were busy and had things to do all day at work or school. Bored eating. We also have a tendency, a lot of people, to overeat or undereat when we're stressed out, which a lot of people have a lot more stress right now, which is stress eating. So our diet can dramatically affect our mood, and then our mood can dramatically affect our diet, and it kind of becomes this vicious cycle too. The quality of food that we're taking in can also affect our mood. If we eat too much junk food, a lot of times we're going to feel really groggy and bloated, not motivated to do a whole lot of stuff. So check in with yourself and your child right now. Have there been any big major changes in your diet since starting quarantine back in March? Sleep. So we have a lot less pressure right now, obviously, to get up and go to work or school because we're all staying at home. So a lot of people are staying up later and sleeping in more. But sleep dramatically affects our mood too. If we're not getting enough sleep, we're going to be cranky and irritable. And if you get too much sleep, again, it kind of gets that groggy feeling and has almost the opposite effect where you really don't have a whole lot of energy. Sleep is restorative. Our body does a lot and our brain does a lot while we're sleeping. It's very important for our mental and physical health. So sleep is a really big part of seeds. So now I'm going to kind of segue into setting schedules and routines. Diet and sleep tie into that pretty heavily. So schedules and routines make us feel comfortable because it's a little bit more predictable. Remember, like, this whole virus thing has totally disrupted our daily routine and your child's daily routine. And a lot of children with autism like their routine. They don't like change. They don't handle that well. So you can kind of mimic this by creating a new daily schedule. So I'm going to go over a couple of quick steps and tips and tricks that I like in setting your own routine at home. Step one, look over the past couple of weeks, the past month, and try and see if there's been a pattern throughout your day. Are you guys waking up around the same time? Are you eating lunch around the same time? That kind of creates a natural schedule for you that you can kind of go back and look on. Okay, lunch is pretty much 1 p.m. every day, so we can write that one down. Incorporate everything into your schedule if you can. School, work for you, meals, bedtime, breaks, whatever you need. Breaks are really important, even for you guys as grown-ups and adults. So build those into your schedule and into your child's schedule. You can kind of use that as a motivation tool too with your child. You finish doing this worksheet and you get your break. Step two, I'm a huge proponent of using visual supports. This is helpful in a lot of different ways. Setting time and setting a schedule is a really vague concept for a child. So having a visual support of actually writing out the schedule makes it more concrete. And it's harder to forget that or just straight up avoid. So I have a couple of examples here of different kinds of schedules and routines and things like that. Having a visual support also helps with older children, help them become more independent with their tasks. So instead of asking you, they can just go check out their routine board. So I'm a big fan of dry erase, Velcro, or chalkboards because they're versatile and you can change them throughout the day, throughout the hour, as you need them to. So the number of tasks that you put on your schedule are going to vary greatly depending on age, attention span, your child's level of assistance that they need, and the level of help that you're able to provide as a parent. So younger children may only be able to do like a couple of tasks, like 2, 3, 4, maybe. So with younger kids, I use a lot of first, then language. And I have an example of that here. I love a first then board, and this one is kind of an example of one of those Velcro boards, so you can take it off when they've completed the work part. So it kind of comes down to, like I said earlier, using that first work, then you get your break or play or whatever they've chosen. And then preteens and teenagers can handle probably a little bit lengthier schedule. Here's another example too that I made up today of a little bit longer schedule. You can also incorporate in these dry erase things little drawings, or they can be a little bit more detailed with words. So I did kind of a combination here. And you can make it fun, like you want to earn stars, smiley faces, or check marks today. Okay, I want to earn stars. So when I get my math worksheet done, I earn a star. And then, you can do that or your child can do that. And then I have to read for 30 minutes. And when I get that done, I get a star. And then after that, it's lunchtime. So I go eat my lunch, and then I get my break, which I want to ride bikes. So I got it all done. Now I get to ride bikes. So that's another example of obviously the dry erase board, which you can do first and then. You can make it a longer schedule, whatever. And with older kids too, they might be able to handle even more of a schedule with less help from you. So here's another example too. Maybe it's a little bit more wordy for your older kids. 9 a.m., wake up, breakfast, then they start their schoolwork. There's that break built in, lunch, which is important to incorporate meals into your schedule and stuff like that too. That helps. Get back to school, riding bikes, maybe go on for the rest of the day. If you don't have that stuff, it's also totally okay to just write it out on a piece of paper. As you can see, these options vary a lot. So setting a schedule for your family requires a little bit of playing around to figure out what's going to work best for you and your child. But thankfully, there are tons of templates online where you can customize them, print out different hours of the day, and some of those are linked down below. So, a quick wrap up. Seeds is a really easy way for you to check in and see what areas of your life or your child's life may be affecting their day-to-day mood. Most of seeds are being affected right now with quarantine, social distancing, all this virus stuff. So social. Another way to meet that need that we have is virtual meetings. I'm sure we're all very familiar with Zoom, FaceTime. Getting that face-to-face contact feels really good in our brains, and it feels similar to actually being with somebody. Other ways that we can do that too are just getting a phone call out to maybe somebody that your child really misses, or even writing a letter. Exercise. Be safe. Obviously, follow recommendations in your area, but go outside, go for a walk, ride bikes, play. All of that stuff is really good for us, and your child is probably used to a lot more activity than they're getting right now. And for rainy days, There are tons of YouTube videos, dance parties, yoga online. Laugh actually has a really awesome program too, Wholehearted and Ohm. You can find that on YouTube or our Facebook page too. And then there are some other options too linked below. And you can do these things together as a family, and that kind of also meets in with that social goals too. Education, a new hobby, read a book, do a puzzle together. Somebody that I've worked with has picked up gardening, baking. These are really new activities that you can do right now, and they're great mindfulness strategies too. They get us out and moving, experiencing with our senses, and those are also really great to get outside or do together as a family to meet some of those other needs that we have. Diet and sleep. Start with getting on a schedule with that. Being more consistent helps us monitor if there are any changes, like if you're overeating or undereating or snacking too much throughout the day. And it can really help you keep in touch with sleep trends. If you're mindful of that stuff, it's easier to stay on top of it. So that's all that I have for us today. Let us know in the comments below your creative ways to get your seeds and how you're managing your busy schedule with all of the changes from COVID. Thanks for stopping in and learning with Laugh in our speaker series, and I'll see you guys next time.